welcome everyone to the 6th edition of the Athens Roundtable on AI and the Rule of Law, hosted here at the OECD headquarters. I'm Nicolas Moës. I'm the Executive Director of the Future Society. It's a non-profit organization with the mission to align AI through better governance. And on behalf of my whole team, I really want to welcome you and to say that we are very excited to have you all join today for the 6th edition of the Athens Roundtable since 2019. We have all worked hard to make this important conversation a reality, to address deep and pressing issues in AI together today. Our ambition is no less than to accelerate progress towards legitimacy and accountability in AI technologies, to regain control over the industrial and arms race that will shape our society's future. So to do so, I will explain to you quickly how the events work so that we can get started with the substance of the day as quickly as possible. We have 4 main sessions. The first one will look at what has been achieved globally and what is being planned to be achieved for 2025 in terms of AI governance and accountability. The second one will be looking at the gaps and challenges in these plans, right, that remain. So there will be, surely, like we have not covered everything yet, so there will be some gaps and challenges for accountability and AI governance. The third session this afternoon will be about brainstorming new solutions and discuss how to fix these gaps. And finally, we'll look at the results from the global multi-stakeholder consultation for France AI Action Summit and help decide who does what concretely to implement the solutions we converged on today. So we really want that everyone leaves this room with at least one new insight or like one solution for them to be really like contributing to or working towards for your organization or for your team for 2025, right? So keep that in mind for your New Year's resolutions. This will be useful. So these topics are too important. We cannot talk past each other anymore. This is why we have 3 groups of participants today. We have the roundtable, the surround table, and we have also a live audience that will be a live online audience that will be watching us today. So each has its own unique role. At the center of the room, 60 willing participants. There we go. Thank you. 60 willing participants will provide the thrust of the discussion. So if you want to speak, please raise your placard like so, and then like the moderator will be able to see what you are saying, and then lower your placard afterwards as well to make sure that we are that we maintain like a clarity about who has spoken or not. So you can press the button in front of yourself, the red button to speak. And that will turn on the mic, but then don't forget to turn it back off, right? So as this conversation, this is a conversation, so we may call some of you proactively as well. So be ready. We at the Future Society wanted to innovate a bit. This is why we have this concept of a surround table and a live audience. So we really want this conference, which we have been organizing for 10 years, to bring like the more meaningful discussions in the debate, right? So this is why we have today a surround table of like 70 participants whose role is to contest and question what is being discussed today. So to the surround table, like you are red teaming the conversation, right? Your role will be to really like holding the other participants accountable, holding the moderators accountable. And we hope that we have enough civil society advocates today to ensure that like everyone is reminded of how important it is for all of you. So once in the surround table, you can raise your hand, and you will have we will have the moderator instructor, a mic runners to go to you. Finally, we have a live audience. Like hi to everyone online. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. So you are obviously outside the room, and your role is to critique the conversation. We want to be held accountable to the public interest, and as the privileged few in the room, we really need to have that perspective to know that like you are watching us, right? Citizens worldwide expect us in the room to do our absolute best for the governance of AI. This is too important an issue. It's a critical global issue that has been left lingering for the past 10 years now. So we have like around 1,000 people who will be watching us today. So we cannot have empty words anymore. decision makers need to know that the world is watching. We therefore need your input, your solutions to those of you online. If you think we in the room lack imagination, lack perspective, or lack ambitions, do share that. Discuss it in the chat. There's input will serve like for the proceedings of this event, which feed into the France AI Action Summit's own agenda and discussions afterwards. So thank you all for shouldering this important role. I also want to thank our partners and supporters. This event would not be possible without the partnership of the OECD, generously hosting us today. Thank you kindly. We are also honored to hold our discussion today under the patronage of Her Excellency, the President of the Hellenic Republic, Ms. Katerina Sakelaropoulou. Thank you for your endorsement of your work. Today's event is also an official event in the lead up to France AI Action Summit. So we are looking forward to continuing the discussion as well until February. And we would like to thank UNESCO as well for their continued partnership in this edition of the Athens Roundtable, helping us make sure it reaches an online audience that is all around the world. Our partners for today also include AI and Society Institute, the Conseil National du Numérique, make.org, and the Tech and Global Affairs Innovation Hub at Sciences Po. We have worked together for the past 4 months to put together the multi-stakeholder consultation for the AI Action Summit. So thank you for making this a success. And finally, we would like to share our appreciation to Fathom and Arnold and Porter for their financial support. Thank you for making this event more sustainable for the small nonprofit that we are. Now, a bit of housekeeping. I hope you will engage with us on social media. The hashtag is AI Athens 2024. For those here, if you have questions, please speak to those individuals around with a yellow lineouts. And I've been informed that some of you have skipped the registration for this event. If you have gone through security, but you have skipped the event registration desk. So if you want to get your tote bag with the plentiful goodies inside, and importantly, some of the good work of the Future Society, you can pick one of these bags if you missed it, like with one of my colleagues. So from 6 p.m., important point, we will be holding a drinks reception in the chateau here at the OECD. And we hope you'll join us in raising a glass for the Future Society 10-year anniversary. So with that said, let's get started. We have here to inspire us today a few opening remarks. We will hear from Minister Dimitris Papastergiou from the Hellenic Ministry of Digital Governance, from Ulrik Knudsen, Deputy Secretary General of the OECD, and finally, from Chloé Goupille, Secretary General for the AI Action Summit. So, Minister Papastergiou, the floor is yours.
Good morning to all of you. Your Excellencies, Ambassador Paulatos, Ambassador of Rwanda to France, François Nkili-Kihumfura, I hope I said it right, dear Ulrik, dear Chloé, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to talk about AI and the rule of law. I would like to start by expressing my gratitude to the organizers of the Future Society, along with co-hosts OECD, UNESCO, and the AI Action Summit for establishing the Athens Roundtable on AI and the rule of law, a premier platform in AI governance. I would furthermore like to acknowledge the morning's attendees who have come together for this important dialogue, recognizing the unique expertise they bring from government, industry, academia, and civil society. Now more than ever, we are united by a tremendous challenge and confronted with a significant chance, a chance and not a threat. The challenge of AI may seem ever greater and more intense, but I genuinely believe it is not more alarming than what we experienced in the past when the first personal computer emerged or when the internet began spreading. It is simply a matter of taking the proper measures. It is crucial to ensure this power is contributed among all and not concentrated in the hands of few. As Europe and as humanity, we must reflect on the responsibility we have and seize the opportunity we cannot afford to lose. I envision AI as a force for good, assisting in health matters, finding treatments for diseases like cancer, developing models that prevent extreme weather events, providing warnings, and saving human lives. It can create sustainable development models that respect the environment. I have no interest in AI powered by fossil fuels. It should provide equal educational opportunities to all children worldwide. It should handle non-creative tasks for me and my surroundings, become my digital twin, and take care of things I find tedious. This is a potential that AI must strive to realize. But who and through what processes control the knowledge that feeds AI models? It is near us in a supercomputer in France or Greece, or perhaps far away in unregulated centers with questionable intentions. The straightforward solution is to share information networks with humans at the helm. These networks should flag misinformation promptly, highlight the gray and black zones, and exclude such sources. Let's not pretend otherwise. The elephant in the room is the excessive concentration of information, algorithms, traffic, and wealth in very few, extremely few centers. AI must be democratized, opened up, and attract more owners, advocates, and supporters. We must take the lead and encourage local AI systems because every country has something unique to contribute. Speaking of the richness of our countries, it is represented in our traditions, music, and languages. Within 90% of data being in English, small country languages like Greek are threatened. We must act decisively and systematically, creating a European open source large language model hosted locally, free from third-party dependencies. The EuroHPC initiative and the AI factories are steps in the right direction, but let me conclude with perhaps the most crucial point, one that the Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has already addressed openly, the protection of minors, especially on social media. Major providers must fully understand that on the other side of the screen are minors, even when they falsely claim to be over 18. They must be pressured about DSA and Article 28 for serving proper content with no profiling, and in parallel, a common age verification tool is highly also needed, and our proposal for that is a Kids Wallet app. We also need initiatives to encourage our children to put down their devices and learn again how to talk, play, read, love. After all, emotions and empathy are what is setting us apart from AI. Once we wrote songs, poems, novels to express love. Today, we just sent a heart. Greece stands ready to support these collective initiatives. Last week, the AI expert team presented the national AI strategy to the Prime Minister. Simultaneously, the national supercomputer Daedalus is advancing rapidly, an infrastructure that we expect to support the Greek AI factory. We also done with the Data Governance Act bill, and these are critical steps towards transforming Greece into a proactive leader in regional AI governance. Concluding, let me reference the Athens Roundtable's emblem, the owl, as a Greek symptom of wisdom, underscoring how AI governance must prioritize principles that protect and promote humanistic and democratic ideals for the future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. Mr. Knudsen.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Minister, for those opening remarks. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome to the OECD. I'd like to, first of all, extend also my sincere thanks to the Future Society for organizing this important event. Nicolas, you said that we should avoid empty words and leave everyone at least with one insight. I think I can top that in each direction. You know, I've been a diplomat for 25 years. I cannot promise to give you a speech without empty words. I'm sorry. It's in my nature. Don't ask the impossible. But on the other hand, I think that we can today promise to give you more than one insight. Let's aim for at least 5 insights for each participant. I totally agree with you about the importance of this event. And we at the OECD have been extremely proud to support previous editions of the Athens Roundtable, and we're now, of course, delighted to host you here at the 6th edition. This event today comes at a pivotal time. There are many, many important AI conferences. I'll just mention 2. Last week, the Secretary General and I attended the GPI Summit in Belgrade. And I know we're always supposed to say with slightly empty words that these are great successes and so on, but this really was a momentous occasion and a milestone, I think, because it's the first time that we solidified this new cooperation between OECD members and non-OECD members in this new integrated partnership with countries like India, Brazil, Senegal, Serbia, the host, and so on, to make sure that based on values such as human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, that we can actually advance with global cooperation on AI. Countries from 6 different continents attended, and I'm pretty sure that in the future many more will follow. And then needless to say, with Chloé here, not before too long, we will also have the French AI Action Summit, and we're all proud and privileged and interested in contributing to that. I'm sure that will be another milestone for AI governance. Now, the OECD has been advancing AI policy analysis and advice for a decade now. We achieved a global milestone in 2019 with the adoption of the OECD recommendation on AI, the so-called AI principles, which then became G20 principles. By the way, 2019 was also the inaugural year, I believe, of the Athens Roundtable. With 48 adherents now and the 2024 revision to those principles, we think it can serve as a foundational document also to the 44 current members, as I said, of GPI. The principles embedded in the recommendation have charted the path for AI governance. For instance, the theme of this year's edition of the Athens Roundtable, Enhancing International Coordination for Accountability in AI Governance, can actually be found in Principle 1.5, Promoting Accountability. Fast forward then 5 years, and generative AI is now truly a part of our lives. AI systems are being deployed across multiple sectors at an accelerating pace. AI, I think, is needless to say, in this group of people, it has a truly transformative potential for economies and for societies. It is transforming how we learn, it's transforming how we work, how we access healthcare, education, government services, and also how we tackle climate change. But without appropriate governance, policies, and guardrails, AI can have wide-ranging adverse effects with implications that we cannot yet fully predict. And those predictions range from minor nuisances to our society to almost collapse of the world as we know it. At the OECD, we've been trying to understand those risks by tracking AI-related incidents through our AI Incident Monitor. Since the widespread emergence of generative AI in the public sphere in late 2022, we've seen an increase in the number of incidents. This trend reinforces the urgency of ensuring accountability at all stages of AI development and deployment. So what do we mean exactly by accountability? Well, according to our own Principle 1.5, accountability means that AI actors should apply a systematic risk management approach to each phase of the AI system lifecycle and adopt responsible business conduct to address risks related to AI systems. Pieces of this accountability framework are gradually being put in place. For instance, the AI safety institutes have been emerging in countries such as the UK, Canada, the US, Japan, Korea, and Singapore to really better understand the risks of advanced AI systems. And in the past few years, of course, we've seen the emergence of quite comprehensive national or even regional AI regulatory frameworks, from the EU AI Act to, by the way, not least negotiated by my friend to the left, Carme, when she chaired the Spanish or the EU presidency for Spain. But not only that, also bills in Canada and in Latin American countries. While these developments are encouraging, there is a real risk of regulatory fragmentation. I think that's clear to everyone. This could create not only, of course, a lot of legal complexities, but also increase costs, especially for companies operating globally. There is a real risk that this could be another blow to the global nature of the world economy if we do not at least secure some kind of interoperability between different regulatory approaches. And this is where international cooperation becomes essential. Key intergovernmental organizations, many of which, by the way, are represented around this table today, along with government, along with academia, business, civil society, must engage in robust international dialogue to build a cohesive AI governance framework globally. To advance this dialogue, the OECD provides common definitions and frameworks to promote interoperability, and we leverage the expertise of our multi-stakeholder AI expert community, which has been recently enlarged to over 400 experts, as we have emerged again with the Global Partnership on AI. We're also committed to making regulations and standards interoperable across borders through the development of common terminology and frameworks. For instance, the OECD definition of an AI system has been reused in the EU AI Act and the Council of Europe Convention framework. We're also working with G7 countries to develop a voluntary reporting framework to help monitor the implementation of the G7 Code of Conduct for Developing Advanced AI Systems, as you know, adopted as part of the G7 Hiroshima AI process. In addition, we are developing practical guidance for companies on how to implement the OECD Responsible Business Conduct Guidelines for the development, deployment, and use of AI systems. This guidance will be aimed at all actors in the AI value chain, from companies providing financing and hardware to those developing, deploying, and using AI systems. So let me end this by underlining again with our chair how crucial it is that we're having these discussions now. All AI models and their deployment are evolving very, very rapidly, and so too are regulatory frameworks. That's why I'm so pleased that we're gathered here today with a very diverse group of AI stakeholders to advance international governance for AI accountability. So again, on behalf of all my colleagues here at the OECD, we really do look forward to a productive and insightful discussion today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Knudsen. Et maintenant, nous invitons Chloé Goupille, secrétaire générale du Sommet pour l'action sur l'intelligence artificielle. Madame Goupille, je vous en prie.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. And I actually plan to speak in English. But thank you for introducing me in French. And thank you very much for the invitation. Dear Minister, dear Deputy Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, for the 6th time today, the Athens Roundtable is gathering today in Paris, exactly 2 months before the AI Action Summit. And we think it's a great opportunity for us to discuss a topic which is both complex, but also ubiquitous in our daily task, which is artificial intelligence. Indeed, we stand today at a crossroads as AI technologies develop at an extremely fast pace. We can either seize the potential of AI for good or let the risk of fragmentation settle in. Global AI governance is a fragmented landscape today, characterized by multiple initiatives launched by several actors. Governments, of course, such as the UK AI Safety Summit, which the French AI Action Summit will follow on, by international organizations. We mentioned a few of them, and notably the G7 Hiroshima process, just to quote one, and private players, which have also mobilized and committed themselves to making this discussion move forward. It seems important to us to clarify this landscape and build a shared and effective governance framework with all the players involved, including obviously the OECD. We should benefit from this opportunity to make AI resemble and support us as much as possible. We have a strong interest in streamlining the global AI governance system, where OECD plays a key role to settle a trustworthy and secure AI aligned with our democratic values. We must work in favor of AI global governance, which is more inclusive and more coordinated. Having everyone at the table is essential to discuss these issues, and specifically issues such as global governance of AI, which will be one of the focuses of the AI Action Summit, together with other key issues such as the future of work, trust in AI, building a public interest system of AI, and making sure innovation and culture benefit from AI. And Mr. Minister, you mentioned notably the protection of minors, and that's definitely amongst the topics with education, climate change, which will be addressed during the scope of the summit because they are central to many of us. In these discussions, we need to build on what already exists, especially within the OECD, and we need to create a consensus on the architecture of global AI and its governance with all, for all, and providing us trustworthy AI. The affiliation between the Global Partnership for AI and the OECD is already making a positive contribution in the landscape of international governance of AI that brings together countries, experts, and representatives of civil society to deliver technical and open solutions to put AI at the service of general interest. And Mr. Deputy Secretary General, you quoted the Belgrade meeting last week, which is a really good example of this strong and important coordination. The AI Action Summit, planned in February 2025, is a great opportunity to meet a wide range of stakeholders, entrepreneurs, government officials to take decisions, but most importantly, actions. The summit aims at being the most inclusive and concrete by gathering everyone at the table to discuss various topics and deliverables related to AI, which are not only limited to security issues, although these are also very important and will be central as well to the summit. This is why we have invited nearly 100 countries, heads of states and governments, and representatives of many parts of civil society. Before the summit, we have also opened up different avenues to contribute to the discussions and to the agenda. And we're very glad that today's meeting is part of what we've officially called the road to the summit, and that the discussions which are going to be held today will bring policy recommendations to the agenda of the summit and enable us to strengthen this agenda and hear many different voices. I'll just summarize the structure of the summit to give you an overview of what's become an AI week now around the summit on February 10th and 11th. We'll start with science and an evidence-based discussion with 2 days of science days on February 6th and 7th, with top researchers discussing AI and science. Then we'll have a cultural weekend to show both what culture and AI can create collectively, but also to have discussions on very important issues for creators, with AI becoming a new element in their work. On February 10th, the first day of the summit will be open to various members of civil society, business, official delegations for bilateral meetings, conferences, and workshops. And then on February 11th, we'll have the official leaders session. We look forward to the summit and we look forward to hearing your conversations today. We're really glad that you're part of the road to the summit, and I'm glad that beyond this opening session, many other members of the AI Action Summit team will be out here throughout the day to listen to your contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Goupille. So we will bear this board in mind. You mentioned concentration of power, you mentioned regulatory fragmentation, you mentioned the need to build consensus. And so I think this is why we are here today. And I'd like to really emphasize this point. So we are gathered here today at the Athens Roundtable on AI, the rule of law, quite simply because AI, and in particular, general purpose AI models, are challenging the rule of law globally, right? And many of you have come today because in some way you are responsible to maintain the rule of law. Whether you are a representative or a decision maker from governments, from the United Nations, from AI safety institutes, from the international organizations that we know, the European institutions, there is something that many people in the world don't have. You have power and authority. So we can make some serious progress today. And this is something that we have an imperative to make that progress, to protect and to advance public interest. We will have to be smart. We will have to design new institutional solutions to keep industry and ourselves accountable, and to prevent us from moving too fast and breaking too many things. It will be hard. We will have to coordinate and collaborate with people we disagree with. We will have to overcome competitive dynamics and geopolitical races. But I'm confident in your motivation and ability to do so. So thank you very much for coming today. For many of you, this is not your first rodeo. You have had exposure or experience with the privacy and social media battles of the past decades. So you know the industry playbook. It's like fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? So cast doubts on scientific evidence and experts, seed uncertainty and fuel it by dividing civil society, and then instill fear in policymakers that speak up against the consensus that you are trying to build. So overcoming this will require hard work. But I'm glad that you are taking these issues seriously, joining here today. So thank you for that. A key deadline coming up is the French AI Action Summit in February 2025, where we can give a new impetus for global AI governance and for accountability in the AI industry. So let's build a solution for the rule of law together. So the challenge to the rule of law that I mentioned, the near lawless situation that we know when it comes to general purpose AI in particular, is also due to the behavior of certain actors in the AI industry. And we have to be honest here with industry. So I'm addressing you directly. If you hold yourself accountable to nobody, you won't be trusted by anybody. That's quite simple. So tech companies have accumulated historically unprecedented wealth thanks to the AI revolution, yet the systemic risks that have arisen and that are worsening the more general these models become have not been addressed. we are already seeing the harms and the accidents that you are causing as you race towards artificial general intelligence. So one can't help but wonder what's next. Interdisciplinary research and the remedies to address this risk is insignificant compared to the hundreds of billions that are being invested in generative AI to just advance the for-profit cause of it without safeguarding the fundamental rights. So let me state the obvious here, right? Like no one wants to destroy the world. The collapse of the world is hopefully is not in the business plans. But the road to hell is paved with good intentions. None of the big oil or big tobacco companies set out wanting to destroy the environment or public health. Some of their staff went to work every day thinking they helped keep families warm and stressed workers productive. Some of the staff were thinking that they even helped fix the issues that their companies were causing. Likewise, today in the AI industry, many go to work because they dream of curing death, of preventing climate change, of reducing poverty, of making high quality educations accessible to everybody. But the intentionality, which is part of our humanity, or human desire for betterment, and our desire to end world suffering, right? This dream is so attractive that you find it justifies recklessness. It does not. This is the problem with techno-solutionism. It begins and ends by leaving the humans out of the equation and tries very hard to remove the humans from the solution. Your vision is to eventually fix the bugs that are poverty, lack of education, or climate change. And therefore you think that massive inequalities or spikes in energy consumption and as well as unprecedented disinformation are just temporary, minor prices to pay. The intention is laudable, don't get me wrong. I do see the intention, but the price isn't paid by you. So when the price gets so high and when it is paid for so long, you are no longer legitimate. And you should not decide whether it is okay to deploy these models or to develop them. You have said so yourself many times at hearings with policymakers at this kind of events. You need guidance. And so I think at this stage, this is the guidance that we're going to try to produce. Every discriminatory automated decision, every depression, accident from misinformation, every violation of fundamental rights or privacy violation and the like, every suicide caused by your technology, every single one of them is a scar on our humanity. It is not a noble sacrifice to the altar of progress. This is something that we have to take into account because we can help you achieve your best intentions without turning society into a nightmare. We can help you achieve that ultimate dream of yours. We can decide collectively to develop a more positive AI that serves rather than harms our communities. And we can also decide to not develop AI for some question and to develop more cautiously as well. Today is about that, rebuilding the trust with society, pragmatically through accountability mechanisms that will convince more of us, and renegotiating the AI deals and to finally give power back to citizens and communities. So let us guide you towards making better AI and ensure that you don't get lost along the way. We have a lot of work ahead of us, a lot of frank conversation needed. This will be frustrating for some. It will be normal that we disagree, that we actually we find it grating. But we have to go beyond this disagreement to make meaningful progress so that we actually having these frank conversations and build these solutions for 2025 and beyond. Let me thank you all again for being here with us today to make this progress. Bear in mind throughout the importance of the stakes that we have as humankind. We have already overcome many challenges. Now, as the international community, we are expected yet again to overcome these new challenges for humanity. So thank you very much. And I look forward to this first session of taking stock of the challenges and the taking stock of the current solutions envisaged.